Welcome back to the Demon Rush YouTube channel. Last time in Chapter 10, we saw Soren's training with his master Oz. After struggling for a bit, Soren finally awakened the power within him after Oz took the feather from Soren, which we found out was actually draining him. And without the feather, he was actually able to unleash his power. But Oz told him to hold on to it. And during their conversation, they talked about how the government has zoned off the area where Michael fought Al Golga, and there they are doing experiments, no doubt, to create new weaponry. Just a few announcements before we jump into the draft pages. The Demon Rush trading card game beta cards are coming in. They should be here by the end of the month, and the 5-minute animation is basically done. We're just going through voice acting now. So I hope that by early February, we'll have the next major Demon Rush world premiere launch with the incredibly gorgeous anime we've created, including beta cards for sale once again. Without further ado, let's jump into these Chapter 11 draft pages. So as Chapter 10 embellished slightly about the government, now we're going to focus on exactly what they're doing in this giant black sphere in the middle of the city. They lied to everyone. They said everything, the big battle was a huge hoax, but there's a huge reminder in the city as there's this giant black sphere that they have blocked off, and everybody, drives around and walks by on their daily basis. Now inside we get to see what's happening. They're doing scientific experiments on the Hellspawn that had come out. So we saw in Chapter 2 and 3 as these Hellspawn emerged and started eating people. You can assume here that the government was able to capture a few of them, and they're trying to figure out the source of their power. Now we also saw in Chapter 2 briefly a military base with this kind of old general guy. This is General Adler, and he's going to play a pretty integral role here in the story. Now he's communicating with this scientist who is explaining how they're trying to adapt the technology, or at least learn the energy source from these monsters, these demons. Obviously we saw the monsters were tearing people apart, and I'm sure the military had a pretty tough time with them, so they want to figure out how they can improve their own technology in case there's another invasion, or just to become even more technologically superior. I don't want to spoil exactly what they're talking about. This will all be revealed in Chapter 11, and just FYI, we're still a ways away from finishing Chapter 11. Pedro and I took a pretty long holiday break, over the end of December, but we're jumping back in here in January. I expect the chapter will probably be done somewhere around early February, and perhaps we could release it with the major launch video that's going to have the 5-minute anime and the new beta cards and the reveal of the World Championship, which will probably be coming in March. More information on that to come. As you can see here, again, General Adler having a very serious conversation about this scientist. You can only assume what they're talking about based on the imagery we have. Now, based on what Soren said, it's been about a month since the huge invasion, since Doomsday, and so they've had about a month to run these experiments in this test tube, and you can see the demon is kind of like pacified in this kind of liquid chamber. The scientist presses a few buttons on his console, and the demon gets crazy electrocuted. So this chamber is not only holding him in stasis, but it's also a method of killing him. The demon kind of melts and fades, and you can see that the chamber is kind of sucking its juice out. And this is a very crude way of the government trying to suck the energy source out of this being. You can see all these tubes and technology, and then what happens is they suck all that juice out, and they're able to put it into a vial, which a scientist in turn loads into a gun. And then he's going to go on and explain what this gun is. So it's safe to assume that they've already progressed in their technology, and while it may be crude at this point, you can tell that their end goal is to get as powerful as possible using this kind of new energy source that the computer is recognizing. And that's when the scientist offers for a secret character to come in and test out this gun. Now, I'm not going to spoil who the character is yet, but you guys are really going to like him, and he's going to get a lot of showtime here in this chapter. I know this chapter, it's probably not going to be a lot of Soren and Rush, but I have to develop some other parts of the story, like the military, because, obviously if there's a huge invasion and they were weak against the demons, they're going to want to try and figure out some ways to defend themselves, and it's going to become pretty important in the story. So this chapter will mainly focus on Earth's defense, which, by the way, is also the name of the second set of the Demon Rush trading card game, and the new champion that's coming for neutral is actually General Adler himself. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Again, the chapter will probably be done by near the end of the month, early February. And this year, I plan on going crazy hard on Demon Rush. 2024 is going to be the year of Demon Rush. I haven't even done any marketing for Demon Rush yet besides make videos. And I have a lot planned, and you guys are not going to believe this anime clip. It's so beautiful. I can't wait to show you guys. That's coming up in about a month, and I'll see you guys soon.